Good evening. I'd like to call the Public Safety and Public Works Committee meeting to order. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Alderman Hamel. Alderman Kapusta.
Here.
Alderman Terrence.
Here.
Alderman Wolf.
Here.
Director Krager.
Here.
All right.
Statement of public notice.
This meeting was posted in accordance with open meeting laws on December 11th.
Okay, status of projects.
Sure. First one is Great Water Alliance. That is the return flow for Waukesha Water. You might be seeing at the corner of Racine and College, they're beginning to, that is their staging area. That was all approved through the Plan Commission. So I believe you're going to start seeing some pipes, equipment, all in that area. They just applied for their first permit in the city of Muskego. Their first permit technically says it starts February 1st, 2021. So just to let everyone know that this project will probably be starting February 1st, 2021 near the intersection of Janesville Road and Racine. They're going to directionally drill under that area. But just to let you know, again, it's tentative, but we're internally reviewing the very first permit, but that is the start of the project kind of in the Muskego area. And it's going to be, they say, a full year in Muskego. So just get everyone ready for this.
So that's going to run down Racine all the way down, right? Because I see pipes in New Berlin and further out, right?
Yep, it's coming. Hallandale reconstruction. Tomorrow will be the bid opening. Just to let everyone know, tomorrow will be the bid opening for that project. We will then review bids, and then we will work in the year of 2021 of awarding the bid. The plan is to start construction in March and April of 2021 and finish up that road in the fall of 2021.
Any questions, comments? Okay. Status of projects. I'm sorry, we just did that. Unfinished business.
Sure. The first one, request for no parking signs, Audemars Court. This is all by Bass Bay Brew House. Just to let you know, they let us know that the person was tasked to get plenty of signatures in the area. He said that due to Thanksgiving, due to the holidays, he wasn't able to obtain or having a tough time getting signatures. So he asked for this to be delayed to the next Public Works meeting. So it's on there, but I'm just going to put it under unfinished business until our next meeting.
Fine. And how about no parking signs on Park Drive?
Sure. So a couple things that were requested of me. One, the first request, what is the current right-of-way for Park Drive and rules for building a fence if interested by Bay Breeze? We added a map there. It's a 50 feet right-of-way. Just I put it in the memo. I also included the notes from planning about building, whether or not you needed to build a fence and how you could build it there. I provided my old memo from November of 2019 with a no parking request on Michi and Park with regards to the Muskego School Apartments development. So that request was just for the development itself. They finally just got temporary occupancy. It's not really rented yet, really going. So it's one of the meeting notes from November 29th, the committee agreed to defer this issue until the development was complete. So even though they have temporary occupancy, it's not all been occupied yet. So the latest thing is, for that initial thing, we were waiting until that was running to see whether or not the parking was suggested or no parking was needed on Park and Michi Drive. Now this latest thing was Bay Breeze asked for no parking signs on Park Drive. Now, don't see him here. Alderman Kapusta was the gentleman. Okay, so I do know that they did meet with the mayor on this. I didn't know if anyone was going to provide an update. Maybe the mayor can provide an update, I guess. So
I met with the homeowners association president last week. I think I stopped out there maybe the week before. His biggest issue that they've been having is in the summer of teenagers parking on park late at night, early in the morning, would probably be a better term, and then going over the berm and using the beach area in the middle of the night and going swimming. So one of the requests that he had actually come up with is if the no parking, we could do something with no parking from like midnight till 5 a.m. or something like that, which would hopefully discourage people from parking there, which I don't see a big issue with that. I guess I would, if you're going to do that, do it only on one side of the road. But that's pretty much where we left it. I said, if anything more explicit than that, then you're going to have to get more information from the citizens in that area and see what their feedback is on it. I would still almost recommend that you as the alderman maybe reach out to the people on that street and talk to them before you do this, just to make sure that you can't park on the street during certain months already, but maybe in the summer they utilize that and this would be an issue. I don't know.
Sure.
So that was the extent of it.
Thank you. I let him know we had this meeting again. He's not here. I provided the information that Alderman Hamel asked. I don't know if you guys want to defer it. I don't know if you want to not do it. It's kind of up in your court, so.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
I guess I got no problem deferring it, and I think maybe the mayor's comments are probably good advice. Check with some of the residents over there and see what kind of input we get there. Rick, did you ever talk to them about, or with Scott, about the light that used to be on Park Drive?
We don't light our city streets, so
There used to be a light on that utility pole for 20 years.
maybe, but our policy's not to light on light. I guess that's why it wasn't replaced. I don't know. Brian, is there any history about it either?
It was right at the entrance of that condo association on the,
Yeah, he showed you.
yep. You could see where it was all bolted up and everything, been there for over 20 years, and somewhere it went. It's like,
Probably a We Energies light that somebody was paying for, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I can definitely look into that for
that
sure.
would be great.
I had a conversation with somebody that lives on that road, just to kind of, as a follow-up, and they hadn't noticed any issues with individuals parking or running across their property. They're like 2 houses down. I don't know, my opinion on the no parking there, I don't know if that's going to fix the problem with kids. They're just going to park where the signs aren't, and they're still going to run down to the beach. At this point, it's probably trespassing if they're running across somebody's property. So my thing would be call the cops and have the kids grabbed as they're running. Because I don't know if that's going to be the solution to the problem, right? It doesn't sound like they're complaining about the cars. They're complaining about people running across their property and using the beach in the middle of the night. And so I just kind of were my thoughts on it.
In all fairness, the chief has stepped up patrol over in that area at night too. So,
Hopefully they're not swimming now.
well, that would be up to them, wouldn't it?
We were not notified that it was an issue until late in the summer.
Right.
Nobody bothered to call us, so I don't know why that would, had there been a call to us, we could have addressed it.
Is there an access point right there?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Not at that point, but that's entrance just to the condo property.
Oh, the condo property, okay.
Your beach is too nice. That's a problem.
All right, anything else?
Should be it.
Just to make sure, the light was at the entranceway to Harbor Circle? Was it right there off of Harbor Circle on Park Drive?
Yep.
Okay.
It was on the east side of that road.
Okay. I'll check with Ryan.
Sure.
So then are we deferring that again? Is that
Oh, we
kind
need a
of,
motion to defer this?
I can, yeah, I'd say if you want to just defer it and then
It's
have.
unfinished, just like the
Yeah,
last one, right? Do we have to defer the last one then?
well, he was just,
Leave it unfinished,
I'll
right?
just leave it unfinished. Okay.
Okay. Good point. All right, new business, the Crowbar Development Public Improvement.
Yep, this is kind of one of our standard ones that we go through. So right across from, and I included the plans right on Crowbar, right across from John Jules Development, the Waters of Dunoon. A gentleman, it's called the Reno Development, has created a 4-lot CSM, And one of the things that has to do for public improvements is they do sanitary sewer. They're going to do a sanitary sewer force main that it's going to connect through the John Jewel development. And that's the only public utility. Provided you all the plans for it. They're at a point where we're looking for just a approval of the plans, contingent upon engineering fields. And then the next step will be a DA that will be created that'll come through finance and common council. But they're there for, we're all set, ready to go for their plans. And like I said, the one that Wendy's showing right now, there it is. It's just 4 lots right there facing Crowbar. Waters Court is right there, the entrance way to the John Jewel development. And there'll be sanitary sewer that'll hook up for those 4 lots, and then it'll connect to the waters of Court. And then that all goes down through the town of Norway. So just looking for an approval for this, the public improvements from the committee.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah. It looks like we're all in favor of it, so it was approved.
All right, next one. Again, another no parking thing. So this request was by, oh gosh, I hope to see your last name, Michelle Pastera, okay. She is here. Thank you for getting my message that you showed up. She wrote an email of asking for no parking signs along Logcrest Boulevard. So to kind of give you an idea, and I provided a plat of where she lives right near Lake Access 15. And it's kind of like right before you're on driving on Racine, right before you get to Hillendale, you take a right and you drive all the way down to Logcrest Boulevard. And way at the end, and it's kind of hidden, you have to wind down through a bunch of roads. There is Lake Access 15. And she's the first house on the west side there of Logcrest, right adjacent to the lake access point. And from the map there, I'm showing her driveway, and it's about 79 feet. We kind of measured, and her request is and I'm going to ask you to come and speak, and I've included your email, to put no parking sign right there on that little portion there on that one side. So
What the 79 feet is, just on that?
Just on that one portion, I think it's the 79 feet. Now, if you go down there, I've driven down there, that's probably the only place you really could park on that road. I'm just, the amount of other driveways there's just not a lot of space between it. The other thing is,
So you can't park on the other side there?
you can, but there's so many other, if you go down there, there's driveways.
It's just driveways.
It's just driveways, like you would be blocking someone in. You have to go down there to kind of experience it, but there's just driveways nonstop. There's not really any place to park. So one of the other things, it's been COVID, more people have been using the parks. We have kind of been cleaning up as a city these lake access points for the general public. We've been cleaning them up. They got new signage a couple years ago. No fault, but we've been kind of encouraged. There's a map showing where they are. People who use the lake, even from the email, you can tell these places are used well. They're well used by people throughout the year. This is ways that people can access the lake, just to kind of let everyone know. So they're being heavily used, and they're probably being used more than normal now, since the fact that outside activities is one of the things that you can do. So again, always about the no parking. We always talk about it. It just not just affects that person. It affects everyone on the street when you do them. So it's kind of like going through the whole thing again. Listen to all the arguments. Remember that no parking affects everyone there on that Logcrest Boulevard. Also, make sure, I hate to say it, that's a public access point. And from the city, we were providing, I guess, people to access the point. This will hinder people to do it. I'm just telling you. But, listen to all the comments and let people know. I always recommend too, when we do it, is not just the person who's called, but maybe getting other people on that road too, to make sure, hey, signs are going up. This is going to affect everyone as well. So, but I'm happy for Michelle. Please come up and kind of talk about it. You probably have a little bit better idea. I included your email to everyone in the memo, so.
Make sure you're speaking into the microphone.
Is it on?
Make sure it's still on.
Oh, it's not on then, is it? Oh, did you?
Is it just not up?
Volume?
Just,
It's the mask.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Is that better?
yep.
There we go.
Much better.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you, first of all, for allowing us to come here and to listen to us. We didn't take this decision to request the sign lightly. We have actually been thinking about it for a few years now, just because, as you said, it is an access point. There are some people that are very good about it and being very respectful, but there's a lot of people who just, they don't care what they're doing around there. And now that's starting to affect our property. And that's why we've decided to kind of go through this, and that's why we emailed him.
The batteries might be going low.
And before we even did that, during summer, we actually reached out to know that because it was one of your concerns to make sure. Fortunately, majority of the people that are on that block that would be directly affected by it, they're not here in the winter time. So we think, yeah. Thank you. So basically, those are their summer homes. So it really wouldn't affect them in winter. I know that one of them, their permanent residency is down in Illinois, so they're not actually up here the entire summer. And they do not come up in winter, really. So that one particular house wouldn't really be an issue. And like I said, we did get their approval first. We reached out to them. They said they were fine with it because we did want to be respectful of our neighbors and ask them first before we proceeded with anything. So the reason why we are requesting it, I think the biggest one is, the two biggest reasons are probably safety issues and the way they're littering and basically using our property for their own personal use. My husband, he works second shift, so he came home around 12:30 at night and there's two people walking on the side of our house. That's an issue for me. Nothing happened, but you never know. And then there's always people putting their garbage all over our yard. I mean, we've seen dead fish, I've seen a dead duck, there's been used condoms, beer bottles, wine bottles, just a bunch of different, anything you can think of, live bait in the styrofoam containers. I would think that would pose somewhat of a health concern, having that type of stuff, especially when you have to pick it up. I, for one, don't want to touch a stranger's condom, used condom. That's pretty disgusting to me. And not only that, we have a dog. So if he's walking around, he could eat any of that stuff at any time. And now we have a sick dog. People also bring their dogs down to the lake, which I get because they want their dogs to swim, but then they let them poop in our yard. And they just leave it there. They don't clean it up. So those are probably like my major concerns. The other ones would be that people, they use that little dead end as like a parking lot. And we brought some pictures. I don't know if you want to show them the pictures of the parking. But then even in winter time, they're lined up in front of our house. The snow plow comes through and they have nowhere to put the snow because there's all these cars sitting there. So where does the plow dump the snow? In front of our driveway. Guess who has to shovel it? And when you have all this snow, and it's snow and slush and everything else coming from the top of the hill, all And then he just starts walking. I don't know where he's going because
Today, I would say go out Trevor or her husband here. The main reason that I want to talk here today is because I'm the one that's seeing stuff at night. I actually work for Steve Peterson, West Dallas, independent out there. I work second shift, so I come home at 12:30 at night. I see cars down here. It was like June or July, two 16-year-old girls on the south side of my house over here. Basically just talk. I think I scared them more than they scared me. But basically, you kids can't be around here. You can't be walking my yard. That's what the hell are you doing down here? They say we're looking for someone. Looking for our friend. I look around there. There's no friend. There's no something. They just walk around because there's a dog trail that goes right along our house also. So the issue is basically there's a safety issue. My wife's home alone at night here. These vehicles, they come in the middle of the night. Nobody parks on the road, which I can show you these pictures here. I know that she's the biggest problem with parking places down at dead end street here. Okay, I get it. But like I said, we're going to our 8th year here. We've dealt with this a lot. I'm done with kids coming in my yard. They park in the middle of the day. They get their rafts and stuff out like they're at a park. The rafts are sitting in my front yard. I'm on my front porch. There's kids running through my yard while the parents are blowing up rafts right in the middle of the road and stuff like that. So I guess my point is it's an access point. It's a 15-foot opening basically between some trees. That's the access point. There is no new landscaping around there. Okay, I can show you the road. The road is destroyed down there because they come on down there. Nobody parks on the road, so the southwest corner of the road, it actually dips in like this. It's all just dirt and stuff. The whole road's gone because they literally go off. They go on the tree lines. I got a $1.5 million home across from where we live right there. Those are two dead-end houses right there. So I come home one night, over sitting in our living room, car comes down into the road, takes a left, goes down by the side, going down toward that access area. So now they're parking beside of Pat's house here. So call the cops come over, and we've got a call number. I forgot to bring the call number though. And Sergeant goes to talk to him, so he calls me. Hey, this is a Muskego resident. Is there any issue with him staying here? My thought is, yeah, I got a real problem. It's like 12 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night, whatever it was. It was night. There's a car parked out on the road, parked alongside my neighbor's house. Yeah, he might be sitting on there looking at the lake, but there's a reason that the parks are closed right now, right? This is a neighborhood. This isn't a park. It's an access point, but it's not a park. So when they come here in the day and they can't stay on the road, they go off in the tree line and stuff like that. So now what we got here, and it's an extension of my yard. I take a lot of pride in my yard and stuff like that. So I do a lot to take care of my yard. So these guys come down here, they get stuck in this thing, they rip up the yard and stuff like that. Nobody cares. That's where I started getting annoyed with this. So we called the cops before, and cops basically say, I can't do anything, there's no signage down here. I get it. Okay, what are they gonna do? So that's why we're here. The only reason I'm here is because I'm told by the Muskego officers, we can't do anything to contact your alderman. So she went to City Hall, and they basically said, contact staff first. That's why we're here.
one another thing is like the garbage and the trash. Trash that went down to the ditch. Because where we live is the drainage point for all the water to go into the lake. We have to all block because there's so much trash. All the trash. We can probably from all the trash that accumulated down there and we flew in there. So we had water like almost halfway up our lawn at work, and I look out my window. Half our lawn is like underwater, right? So he had to leave work, and then we had to sit there and like clean this right out. All these different debris got the body.
Here's pictures of the snow and the deal of plow and stuff like that. You're gonna see right down here. This is the western portion, or this is the eastern portion of the street. Okay, you guys can add this here. It shows the cars parking off road, shows the damage and all that kind of stuff. Shows them the tree lines and that, shows them at night parked out there. But like we said, with the snow here, you can see where the trucks are parked, where the little thing is. When the plow comes down here, he's got nowhere to go, so he just basically does the eastern portion of the road. And then when the trucks leave, because they come down Ice Fish there all day, because like Scott said, there's not a lot of parking down there, okay? But there's launches all over the place. So what they do is, instead of going down, the building right next to us, the launch Hillview, where you can't park anywhere around there because the launch, whatever, there's all kinds of restrictions over there. So they park on my street, 5 o'clock in the morning, heading out with their stuff, they're there till 10, 11 o'clock at night. I mean, these people are, ice fishing guys are out there all day long and stuff like that. So your plows come through and nothing is cleaned up. So these are some of the pictures you guys want to see. Again, we're not trying to cause an issue. I do not want to really restrict my neighbor and stuff like that. They don't want to be restricted. I talk to them all. They understand it. I'm just at my wit's end. I don't like people in my yard. I don't like people around my house at night and stuff like that. When I'm not there and she's alone, there's just no reason for this. And it's not like a park where there is actually additional parking, because if you come in front of our house, if you go south, you got Ron and Carroll's street right there too. North, I'm sorry, go north of there. There's parking there too. I know it's tighter out there. The whole city's tight. You know?
The other thing too is, I actually want to. So if almost all of these other access points have no, why would it be a big issue for us to get one? Because majority of these times, they kind of hold the block to block. Some of it just might be a couple times. We're asking for one in the corner.
The main reason we're asking for it, so when we call the police department and say, hey, here's an issue, and the police come, I don't have to hear, well, there's nothing we can do, you need to call your alderman, okay? I work for City West Dallas. I know how that goes about and stuff like that, okay? That's not a response that I want to hear. I want something done about this. And if you can't do anything, I get it. That's why I want the sign. One sign, just so I can sit there and say, okay, we got a problem. Officers, can you fix the problem? They come down, they do their job, and there's no issue. If I call them and they say I can't do anything, and I get it, because they can't do anything, there's nothing there. They're kind of stuck and we're kind of stuck. So that's the only reason we're talking about this today.
Anybody have any comments?
Chief, do we have any other options? Because, I mean, it sounds like more issues than just no parking.
I went down there, and one of the things I noticed is that the boundary for the park, or for the lake access, is not very well marked. So I went down there, and quite frankly, I didn't know where the lake access was and where the private property was. So, you know, that might be some of the issue, that people don't know where the boundaries are, and they're walking on your property and your neighbor across the road to, you know, not realizing that they are.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that I noticed when I was out. You know, typically, we don't like to put up no parking signs because put them up and that restricts everybody in your neighborhood.
I get it, yeah.
Parties and stuff like that. So, you know, the no parking, you might end up just pushing it back further. It might not help with the littering or them coming onto your property, where maybe some signage to indicate where the lake access is. That might be helpful to keep them out of your yard.
I think part of it too is that the majority of people are parking down there, and they're not people from our block or our area.
Sure.
They're from outside, because I would somebody who lives 2 houses away, drive their car 2 houses down the park, when they're actually on the lake. Why can we do that and walk in the lake?
That's the problem with the way they treat the area too, because they're not coming in. You know, I know there are people in the street above me, like the street in that come down the dog path. There's no issue with that. I know that there's people that come down fishing during the day and stuff, but we don't have an issue with that. And so we have an issue with, was I come out there, there's pictures of that one right now, the lease pile up, there's wine boxes out there, somebody's out there drinking and just throwing their wine box. I just started taking some pictures at the end after we thought, hey, this is enough, I'm just fed up with it. I saw the 2 girls in my yard that one night. That was pretty much it, because there was another night I got home. We have 4 solar lights on our landscape right in front of the house. So I'm out there changing the battery, because one of the lights when I got home I could tell was out. I'm out there, it's dark out, and like I said, there's no lights around the city and stuff like that. And sure enough, I can hear them coming all the way down the thing. There's a car ripping 50, 60 miles an hour down the hill. They get down the room, they rip down here. They don't know I'm in the front yard here, so I turn around. 4 or 5 kids jump out and start running and giggling and stuff like that. So, of course, I'm ticked off. So basically, I get, hey, just do that apart. You got to get out of here. You know, run the car, rip out of 60 miles an hour. This is the kind of activity that goes on down there, because, like the chief said, it's not really posted where you can go. It's not like Idle Island where you know exactly where it is. So they come down here, they don't know where to go. So you can see how ripped up the road is. anything south of my driveway, it's like that road's gonna be gone here in about 10 years. It's all busted up and stuff. We're gonna park in the road.
And I think what part of the problem is too is that access point is like you said, hidden.
Yeah, it is.
So people who know about it, they like that it's hidden. So you can go half block down, and it's a circle, whereas the police have their access, that's wide open.
Right.
First of all, who's gonna wanna go there when it's wide open? And second of all, who's gonna wanna be down there when we know who's up? Driving by at any time.
I got a quick question. Is this legal parking? I mean, can they park across down to the dead end like that? I don't know, because
Yeah,
that's
no,
one
that
thing
was
they
sort of my
brought up.
Yeah, it was one.
Turn it into
Whoops.
a parking lot.
That's one of the ones we called about that day.
I mean, they're like literally.
They're like in the road.
Yeah, they're just in the road.
I mean, it's a dead end, so it's not going anywhere, so, I mean, it looks legal to me. I'm just asking the question.
Technically, probably that middle car would probably be a front, well, technically the other one would too.
We're behind it, you have the one behind it, but they might be friends, right? But
But because it is on the dead end.
But there's really no markings there, so that's legal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give these to Scott, so he'll have your pictures and he'll put them in an email to us probably, right?
That's a group of kids that were down on that day, and that's when I called, and that's when the tracking Jason's got to come down too, because your young female officer, I get what she's saying, she's like, there's nothing I can do. So I said, well, call Jason, I know you're second shift, and let me talk to Jason, but then other things go on, and you can get it, I get it, I really get it. So we're not trying to make a.
No, I understand. I also wanna make a point that, it is an access point. I mean, you said it's not from your area. I'll bring up a couple comments. That's why it's an access point. It's for people in the whole city, not just from your area. I mean, that's the dilemma with the lake, you know? And there's many of them. I'm not sure, Scott, maybe you can, or the chief or somebody, who's the alderman over there? Are one of you guys, or is it
No.
John?
I think it's John.
Does the other access points all have no parking signs on them?
It varies from access point to access
I mean, I can see
point.
the ones where there are launches, that makes sense, because you got to keep that free.
There's no parking signs all over the other access points. The only ones that are on the.
I think,
ones don't have.
I think that's something we'll have to take a look at, is what the other access points are.
Those parking signs have generally been, put up and driven by the close proximity to the launch. Parking trailers. Prior to years ago, we didn't have the no parking sign. But again, it was chaos with people parking their vehicles with an attached trailer, so we ended up having to do the no parking. So a lot of those accesses are near, the whole launch.
Okay.
And then they had the no parking.
I think we should probably review that real quick. And then, the other,
I mean, this one too is just to let you know too, can be accessed from Shore Lane too, this access point. And it's a long, if you look at the map there that's shown, you can access from La Crest Boulevard and Shore Lane up there. There's just these unique,
Long strip from Shore, from
Yeah.
that endpoint, you're literally talking about a 5-second walk.
yeah.
So that's where my issue comes into. So there are other places to go. Here, we have a map that she went mapped out. These are all no parking signs, the arrow, and stuff like that, all these red dots. So again, do I really want this no parking sign? Probably not, okay? But maybe if the chief's got some good ideas for something that we can figure out to say, okay, when you come down here, maybe past 6 o'clock at night, you can't park down here, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, if something happens in my neighborhood, there's gonna be a real problem if we allow these guys to just run rampant in the neighborhoods here. These are
But-
very expensive homes on the opposite side of me.
I mean, one of our goals is not to oversign the city. Okay, so we'll take a look at this, but the question I have is that we put signs up in parks. I think the newest ones are for walking your dogs or something, please clean up behind you. I don't know, is this something we looked at, or should we look at, or should we not look at for
So the old sign
access
that they
points?
have there, you got a new sign that basically just says, City of Muskego access point. Your old sign used to be that you switched these out like 2 years ago. It used to say no motorized vehicles past this point.
Right.
We never had issues with down here. It's just been the last couple of years, almost when this new sign comes up, because the old sign had wording on it, and it was something like no motorized vehicles past this point, and it was butted close up to the road. So when people parked, they actually, okay, they stay on the road. Now you got this new sign that's like 25, 30.
Well, I think the reason for that was because we're trying to give access to the lake. And, you know, people were growing trees and putting their own little fences up and enjoying that sign saying nobody can enjoy the lake except people who are living here. I think it tried to open it up to the city. But my other point I was going to mention is, you know, I guess I was going to ask, your property doesn't go to the water? There's a easement in front that people can use and walk through?
Lockers, you come down the hill, it's dead end, you take a right. There's Ron and Carol's house on the west side, and there's our house.
And you can walk right in between those houses on the lake?
So basically, you go straight, you're at the dead end, so our property looks like. And there's a bunch of trees, and on the other side of the trees is a dog path.
Okay, but that's along the water?
No, it's like right here. So this is,
Oh, on the
this,
side,
if you look at
okay.
this,
I
this is their
misunderstood that.
house here. They come down Lock Crest, there's the dead end. And then, once you hit the dead end, if you walk this way, you hit the lake. If you walk this way heading west, you can go up, all the way up to the shore lane and get out on that way. That's the other,
Yeah, that dog trail, that's what
Yep.
I'm talking about. There's no issue, because we got a tree line.
yeah, there's a tree line pretty heavily, and then you have a fence in your backyard, kind of, right there.
There's a sentry fence.
Yeah.
there, we got it. So there's no issue with that. The issue is the people that come down, don't park on the road. They go onto your property, your city property, or they're off the road. They go off the road, they don't give a damn, they park in. Why you can't just stay on the road is beyond me.
Yeah, people just don't do that, right?
Everything like that, but everybody else is down in tree lines. So like she said, now what the heck are these guys doing here? You're parking along the side of Pat's house. But when I call the cops, I don't want to hear, hey, he's a Muskego resident, he's just gonna hang around by the water. I don't want to hear that. I'm sorry, Chief, but I don't want to hear that from anybody. He's gotta leave, or
Well-
he's just gotta get his car on the road.
I think one thing that we just had in the last, was it Park Drive or one of these, I don't remember, was the 10 o'clock issue time. So maybe that's something we gotta.
Are there time limits on those, on the accesses at this point?
No, there's not.
There's nothing.
There's nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing
Okay.
out there.
If
There's
there's
times
set for
like
the
you have to be
access.
out by 10 o'clock or anything like that. There's nothing.
It's not, it's almost worse than a park. I don't.
Well, that's why I'm trying to bring these up for a discussion right now. I'm trying to go over some of the points, because one of the things that stood out to me when I read over the email of your concerns was the late night activity. You know, and if they're kids, there's a curfew, so there can be a problem with that.
What about a question, are you allowed an idle aisle at any time? Like, could I go there at midnight and hang out and run around?
No,
and
that's
stuff?
officially a park, and they have like times where they're closed. It
You can still use it to access the lake.
yeah.
If you wanted to go out ice fishing at 2 in the morning, you could use that
Can you park there? You can park there at 2 in the morning?
on the road, yeah.
Not in the park?
Yeah, that's what.
Can't park in any park? You
Yeah.
can't park in any park, in any parking lot at night?
They have official times when parks are open and closed, but the boat launch instills there a night aisle. It's kind of a weird.
Watch out Hillendale here.
Yeah.
So when you go down that hill, I mean, like it's probably 10, 15 signs over there, okay? They go all up and through that whole neighborhood, okay?
And that's Hillview. Yeah, and why again, like why the chief was saying this is it's because of the trailers.
Trailers, right.
If you start having trailers park along, these roads are already designed to be,
Trailers,
yeah,
someone just signal parking anytime and stuff like that.
yeah.
Because even if you go to Circle Drive over there, the other one over there, you come off Circle Drive, you go west, now it's just no parking signs because people don't want people park there. Same concept, so you can't go to a launch and hang out down there, but you come to a neighborhood here, you can hang out here. Literally, bring your tubes and stuff and blow them up in my front yard, with your kids running around my yard. I don't wanna be an ass and sit here and get an argument with parents. We allow it to happen. I mean, but I'm telling her like, hey, this is ridiculous. I moved down here for a reason. I don't need these little kids running through my damn yard. I gotta choke my dog back here and say, hey, you can't, you know.
Well, and picking up things and everything, I think we got we're all in agreement, we got the point, right?
I can just say one more thing. If you can figure out something to do without putting no parking sign up, I'm all for it. I really am, because I
So-
don't wanna look like an ass. I talk to my neighbors. They're like, hey, Trevor, do what you gotta do. I called Pat in California today, said, hey, we're going to this meeting. Are you still cool with this? He was on a golf course, so you can send me an email or anything like that. He said, he understands, he's fine with it. But if you can just figure out something to where you can restrict, like by that sign, say something past like 6, 7 o'clock. I would say it's reasonable, because that's a neighborhood now, okay? Now it's starting to get dark, and pushing hang around neighborhoods and access points. That's just my opinion.
No, I understand it. Living there, it's a different situation. I understand that. I think that, I think we're all in agreement. We understand the concerns, right? I mean,
Well, I do have concerns about it though, because I don't think a resident should have to patrol their property, the road, and we're seeing this reoccurring theme all over the place. And a lot of it's got to do where people are parked, and you shouldn't have to monitor your property that way. I mean, that's ridiculous. So we need to find some decent short-term and long-term solutions to this. We really do. And maybe it's a concerted effort between police department and public works, but we got to figure out something that does a better job for what people are doing here.
no doubt people are more inconsiderate
Mm-hmm.
every day. It gets
Absolutely.
worse and worse, right?
I agree with kind of that comment. And if I stand up and say, hey, I'm not for the no parking, it's not because I didn't hear what you said. I would be frustrated and all that. I don't think a no parking sign is going to help with 95% of the things you listed. There's ignorant people, they're trespassing, they're there late at night, they're right. Hey, no parking sign.
I don't work for Muskego.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And I just,
Figure something out, I'd be very happy walking by here saying, hey, we're gonna do A, B, and C to
Yep.
kind of regulate. So basically, the city roads aren't being destroyed, the area's not destroyed. I don't have kids in my yard at 10 o'clock, and when I do say something to somebody like, hey, get you little rats out of my yard and stuff like that, I'm not gonna end up arguing with that.
yeah, I hear you.
I do have,
People come down to fish and stuff like that, we moved down here for a reason too. I get all that. It's like my wife said, she's the one more frustrated with me. I'm just talking loud to get this dumb mask on here. That's why I'm talking louder here, so you guys can hear me.
well, I think we need to address two concerns you have that I have written down. The roads, which we're all aware of what's going on with the roads. We've actually increased the budget. We have a priority list out there, and unfortunately, I'm going to probably give you bad news, but a dead end is not a priority compared to somebody's main roads that look like your road down main roads right now that we're trying to put money into, and like Hillendale is being totally redone, which is millions of dollars. It's not that we don't take that serious, but I think that's something that we'll have to take a look at. Maybe you can fill in the side of the roads, if they need them. You guys have the priority. You know what you're doing there. I don't want to beat that dead horse. The other thing is maintenance. Maybe Scott, you can tell us a little bit about when the spring goes down with all the garbage in there and it piles up, how you have a regular maintenance plan, don't you?
Yeah, and guys can see, there's a major, if you look at that thing, there's a 27-inch RCP right there. And we had these two big major flood events for that. And again, we try to maintain as much as we can, but when those two rainstorm events, they came down.
You don't have to redo it.
Yeah.
I clean that out every year.
And usually most people try to do it because it's your front lawn. I got two in my front lawn because I don't want my property to flood as well. The other thing that you bring up interesting things, and one I will have to investigate. We don't sign lake access like times. I don't know what the rules are. I'm being honest. I would have to really investigate this because I don't know if they're parkland. I don't know if they're DNR. We have to figure out what the rules are, because the one thing is, if you sign one of the lake access points, my recommendation is probably be consistent all the way around. I'm happy to look into hey,
Like the park dog signs that I brought.
Yes.
Something please keep the area
clean,
residents type thing or something.
or
like
you know what else? I might have to throw some garbage cans on there.
Well, that was another point I had written down.
If there's not garbage can, but again, as I do these things, you're inviting more people to use these things because it's just making them nicer.
I honestly think, I've been down there almost 8 years now, if you put signage that you used to have, get rid of that new green sign, put up a sign right next to it, okay? Move that sign up about 15 feet towards the road, so people don't think, yep, let's just drive into the grass area stuff and that stuff here. So you see in the pictures, they're not even on the road, they're over the road and stuff like that. That's what's damaging all the roads and everything like that. Nobody's parking properly. But if you had that sign, you move that thing up so people know, hey, here's where the road ends. You put a secondary sign with some kind of signage that says, hey, past 6 o'clock, access is closed to the public or something like that, so that when there's a problem, and I call the police department, they can act on what's on that signage. I'm sure there's an ordinance you can write up and put on that sign about being in that general area. Not a no parking, but just, hey, at this particular time, you gotta park a certain way. You can't park 3 deep, okay? You can't park in L's and stuff like that. That's illegal parking, I know it is. You know?
I think,
One of the things that privacy so that people can't drive more vehicles on and stuff like that? Boulders or?
Bollards or boulders and stuff like that.
I thought you go not on Pat's side of the street, okay, because, and I'm not speaking for Pat, but at that end, you put some kind of curvage line here and a curvage line here, to tighten that road up so it doesn't get all busted up and stuff like that, because I'm out there blowing I clean that road like it's my kitchen floor up there, okay? And neighbors make fun of me because I clean more than my wife does that street, right? So it's nice in that. But you put some kind of stoppage there and some kind of roadage there, and you move that sign up there saying, hey, a certain time you can't be here, stuff like that. So then if there's a problem, I don't want to deal with it, call the cops can actually act on, because they're handcuffed right now too, so they can't act anything.
Like, you guys decide that, you know, the no parking sign, you guys aren't gonna do it, which I get that could be a possibility. What are our options?
I don't want it anyway.
Well, I think from this point,
I like this idea better.
I can tell you, I think from this point, like I said, I think we totally understand you and, you know, I look at myself as a neighbor and a resident as well. So, you know, I have the feelings involved with this too. I think we all kind of do that. But I think at this point, this is under new business. We would move this to,
I'd say just move it to unfinished business and let me kind of do some investigation. I at least got to be, I want to tell you guys what the rules are for, like, if we possibly can sign these to close them down. I don't know what it is.
that's going to be hard if you have Idle Isle open, you know, so.
But Idle Isle has a park sign too, that it's closed at a certain time.
Well, that's what, okay.
Yeah, those are already done. Those are already done. It's kind of like, what do you want to do with these lake access
So you need
points?
to investigate this.
I
and get
do.
back to us. Okay.
Yeah, we put this under unfinished business. Maybe I can come up with a couple ideas without putting a no parking sign of, hey, this might work out better, get what you need. But at the same time, no parking sign.
And give us a little time because we're going into the holiday season here, so.
Yeah, yeah. I can do an unfinished business, but I'm curious too. Again, a
So
lot
we'll
of
bring
things.
this back on public.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll just put it up on the next one and then do some investigation. But again, what we're,
To listen to it as it goes.
oh yeah,
Absolutely.
You guys have, you're better than just putting up a damn sign. I like it better that, hey, let's try to create this over there to clean it up and so that people actually can respond properly, cops can respond properly or something. I think one more sign right next to that sign would fix it.
yeah.
I don't work for you guys, but.
I just got to do some investigation and check with people, and we just put it on unfinished business. I have Michelle's email. I'll just email you, hey, by the way, it's on the next time when we have the Public Works meeting. Please show up, and then we'll do the
And
discussion.
usually it's the same time, the third.
It's always
Tuesday.
the third, January
Should be
19th.
if it's not postponed.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys have emergency parking here, Ed? Like for snowfall and stuff like that, maybe, or something like that? All right, so my only thing is that when this ice fishing hits eventually, that's the other big thing with just the street plow and stuff like that, because these trucks, they're not from the area. They come, we don't see them while you're around, and all of a sudden, they come and they're 4 deep, or they were even parking facing north, cutting out Pat's driveway, but I didn't have a chance, I do his driveway when he's in California. I wasn't really cleaning it every single day, but they were parking right in his driveway and stuff like that, and we still aren't calling the cops because, okay, it is what it is, but then when the plow comes through, and you've seen that picture, he only gets one strip, and then she calls me at work saying, hey, wait till you get home and see this. And
So
then
I think,
where the trucks are parked.
Scott can address that, right?
Yeah, I'll check with my DPW and how
give
the
them a
guys
note. Give them a
plow
note.
it. Yeah, and usually what's gonna happen is this. They plow it to the best they can, and then probably the next day when they're gone, they come back and they finish it.
So you can ask him to be a little more respectful with
Yep.
the driveway over there.
Yeah, I can ask about that, but I'm just more curious about, for my own personal thing, and again, a lot of this stuff, COVID has just made our park systems and these lake access points, and everyone and their brother is out and about, because that's the only thing they can do. I know. So we're getting a lot more of these kind of like with these requests, similar to the Bay Breeze. It's an awesome beach. People found that out. They're trying to take advantage of the outside.
I can't stress this, this is not a beach though. 15-foot opening here between trees. And, you know, they're coming down here, if they're coming down at 8, 9 o'clock at night, you know what they're coming down there to do.
Yeah.
Come down there and drink, or come down and mess, and Michelle and I are the ones that go clean it up, and then everybody makes fun of me because they call me the cleaning girl.
So I think if we look at possibly some signage and properly word the stuff in the signage.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do some investigation. Guys, I want to check on how we can.
Or maybe we need to make an ordinance with the signage. I don't know.
There's
That's
just-
he'll take a look. I mean, he's got some homework to do.
Yeah, I'm going to have some homework I'm going to have to
We'll
take a look
throw it all
at.
on Scott's shoulders.
Sorry, dude.
It's fine.
But I appreciate the thoughts. I mean, these are great ideas, but I don't really have
We
anything.
just want to make sure that even if there's no parking sign, that we have some type of options, so like we're not stuck where we are now.
Well, I think we're all on the same page. We'll get your alderman involved with this as well. He'll be notified, and we'll take a look. I mean, if it needs a no parking sign, then it needs one. If we can do without one, we prefer that as a city. There's no hiding that. But if it needs one, we put them up. So So I think that's with the homework he has, and we'll come to a conclusion. We'll have another meeting, and then from that meeting, it'll have to go up to council, right?
Yep.
So there's 2 more meetings after that if everything goes good, so.
So I guess the recommendation, Scott, you could just say defer to the next business.
You need to make a motion on because it's under new business.
Yeah, so defer it on business and then say, Scott, you have a long list of things to.
I'll make a motion that
investigate.
Scott has a lot of homework to do about this one, and we defer this till later.
Second.
Yeah,
Feel free to call. I mean, we're all in touch with neighbors. The problem is now that Mass California, Dave's in Florida, and except Paul's in Chicago.
that's fine.
And we don't feel sorry for them that they're in Florida, so.
Well, that's what, my outside table in his garage, but I gotta clean his driveway all winter, so. he better-
He's got it made, yeah. Okay, I got to get this vote in. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nobody's opposed. So we'll be approving this to be deferred to the next meeting and Scott's homework.
We don't need the pictures back either.
Yeah, he'll keep those. Good, good. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for expressing everything, and hopefully we'll get your area the way you want it. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
I'm sorry? Yep. There's no new business on file. Is there? No new business, communication miscellaneous from anybody? And before we do an adjournment, I just want to wish everybody a safe and healthy Christmas and New Year's. And after that, motion,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And it passes. We are adjourned at 6:24, is that right?